Cathie Wood ain't messing around.
We're very supportive of that. What happened in Delaware, the judge ruling and basically taking the vote away from us, the shareholder. We voted for that pay package, 73% of shareholders did. And to have the judge kind of thinking that she is reading the minds of directors and independents, dependents, whatever. I just think, as I said in a post on X, I think it's un-American, it's anti-investor, and it's an insult to the board of directors of Tesla. So totally supportive of that.
Tell us what you really think, Cathie. Obviously, Cathie Wood tends to be rather delicate, but it's quite easy to understand how she really feels about this. I, unlike Cathie, don't have clients who might get offended. Although I do have plenty of viewers who'll get mad, unsubscribe and tell me on the way out. That's fine. You won't be missed. But Cathie did use the word insult to Tesla shareholders, un-American, and as I've said and will continue to say, Judge, quote unquote Judge, Kathleen McSeebon is in fact an activist masquerading in judge's clothing. Her decision, one of the most despicable, heinous, unjust that I'm aware of in recent memory. The gall of this raging narcissist with her own agenda, seeing herself as a hero in this situation. The opening sentence from her remarks on this went something along the lines of, does the world's richest man deserve to be paid even more? And putting aside the fact that when this compensation package was announced, he was nowhere near close to the world's richest man. As far as I'm aware, Tesla is appealing this decision. I think the next step heads to the Supreme Court. And surely the corruption does not go that far, right? Surely this insane decision will be overturned, right? Or has the message that's been broadcast loud and clear, especially since Musk bought X and allowing people to freely share their thoughts, opinions and ideas, the message that Elon bad reached all the way to the top of the Supreme Court? We will find out. However, even if it turns out that the corruption goes that far, the next steps will be for Tesla's board to put together a new proposed compensation plan, a revised version of the 2018 plan that meticulously lines up with all of the points that this extremely corrupt activist in judge's clothing had in her ruling, so then Tesla shareholders can once again vote on the compensation package. Presumably, it will be approved, and we can all move on. Plus, Musk can get a new compensation plan drawn up for the future, because right now, the dude's working for free and now has been for quite some time. Either way, you can clearly tell that Cathie Wood is real fucking pissed about this decision, as am I. I still can't believe what I've seen. Can't believe this took place.
Move.
Are you supportive of Elon Musk's requests or demands or whatever you want to call it to get more voting shares? Or as he says, he'll take some of his technology elsewhere? Or do you feel as though Tesla's sort of being held hostage to that demand?
I do not feel that. Being involved in disruptive innovation and only disruptive innovation, we know that we need visionary leaders who will stand up to short-term oriented shareholders and be able to execute their vision with the right technologies at the right time. And Elon Musk is the inventor of our age, and he is also our Renaissance man. So I'm always surprised at the pushback he receives. And I do think that 25, he's not asking for any more economic interest. It's voting interest. And for many of our companies, we are supportive of super voting rights because we know the visionary leaders, we go through periods of volatility and they just need to be able to execute upon their vision, not be thrown off by boards of directors who are listening to short-term oriented shareholders and swayed by them.
Cathie is 1 trillion% on point here. Consider for a moment the extremely short-sighted nature of the big money on Wall Street, judged based on, at most, their quarterly performance. Now also consider the short-sighted nature of money managers, not necessarily big money, but even managers of very small amounts of capital for other people. Also judged on their very short-term performance. Now imagine a situation in which some of these short-sighted, short-term interests had enough of a say in the direction that certain companies were going, the decisions they were making, that the company began making very short-term, strategically brain-dead, at least viewed over the long-term decisions. For example, let's say they were an internal combustion engine manufacturer with a short-sighted focus, and they're thinking to themselves, we're not really making any money selling electric vehicles now, but in order to make money, we'll need to reach massive scale. But that's going to cost a lot of money between now and then, and shareholders are probably going to be a little bit pissed, at least the short-sighted shareholders. Therefore, let's scale back our electric vehicle production. Imagine a ridiculous scenario in which that would take place. Oh wait, that's exactly what Ford and General Motors and others are currently doing. Now, as it relates to Tesla, if we had a bunch of short-sighted dimwits calling the shots there, you know what would be happening, right? There'd be no money being invested in refining lithium, in the humanoid robot. Tesla wouldn't have even attempted to solve full self-driving. They wouldn't be one of the world's leading AI companies. They wouldn't be releasing a mass market, more affordable vehicle. The Cybertruck would never see the light of day. Tesla would never have open sourced their patents. They wouldn't be distracted making energy storage products. They wouldn't have introduced an insurance product. That's a distraction. There'd be no dojo. In short, Tesla would be doing nothing at all to lay the platform for future and truly astronomical revenue and profitability. I think it's fairly reasonable to say that in general, the people most qualified for making decisions at companies, disrupting, innovating over the long term, are the people who have themselves built and currently lead those companies. Why do I say this? Well, if that weren't the case, then the genius is pointing and saying, hey, leader of this company, hey, Elon, you're doing it wrong. Do this instead. Surely if those people really were making the right decisions, they themselves will be the ones leading multi-$100 billion companies instead of angrily posting through their keyboards or yelling at their webcam. Jeff Bezos is another example of a visionary leader who held firm over the long term. And did someone say short term versus long term, visionary leaders versus those with a micro penis length time horizon? In totally unrelated matters, this note from Morgan Stanley. Tesla, as in Tesla stock, sentiment check. Can bearish be bullish? Our recent investor survey with 84 respondents, so decent sample size, not huge, but hey, it's better than 12 respondents, is aligned with a negative sentiment on Tesla shares. 3/4 of respondents believe the stock has yet to bottom, and only 1/4 see the stock as a good way to play AI. So we're taking notes here, folks. Call me crazy, but personally, I genuinely believe that Tesla is one of the world's leading AI companies. What they've done with FSD, absolutely stunning. Real-world AI. Progress on the humanoid robot, stunning. Yet sentiment from people on Morgan Stanley's mailing list, only 1/4 even slightly agree with me here. How could that be? Am I wrong? Or do I just have a much longer time horizon and a different perspective? Or maybe both. Imagine if the 3/4 here in this survey were those calling the shots at Tesla. It's fucking wasting time with that autonomy shit. Just delete it, bro. Why are you putting these sensors on vehicles that you don't even have? Stop, that's a waste of money. You'd save $2 billion a year if you didn't have all the cameras you don't need. Fucking, what are you doing, bro? Let's cancel the robot. Spend that money on Super Bowl ads instead. Bears outnumber bulls by over 2-1. Following our recent Tesla bull and bear lunch, we distributed an online 3-question survey to our research distribution post-close on February 15th. 60% of survey respondents expect Tesla shares to underperform the S&P 500 through year-end, while 26% expect Tesla shares to outperform. Now, I just want to take a quick moment here. I don't know for sure, but if this mindset is reflective of much of the big money on Wall Street, given the short-sighted, short-term trader mentality nature judged on quarterly performance, you would expect that a lot of the, quote, big money will have sold their positions in Tesla, given the fact that they expect the stock to underperform the S&P 500 through year-end. Almost 2/3, and just over 1/4 would be holding and or even continuing to buy Tesla stock. Now, let's just say hypothetically this is how things are. What if sentiment shifts at some point in the future, maybe even completely inverting to a point where 60% expect Tesla to outperform? Would they then not load up on Tesla stock? And if they do, there's a lot of buying activity and a little bit less selling. What might that do to Tesla's stock price? Bearish respondents outnumbered bullish responses by more than 2-1. In addition, 75% of survey respondents believe Tesla shares have yet to bottom this year, with 27% of respondents expecting shares to bottom at or below oh my God, at or below $100 per share. Now, this is entirely possible, although I certainly would not be betting on it, but this is a pretty stunning piece of data. More than 1/4 of the respondents expect Tesla this year will collapse by about 50%. And if this 27% are putting their money where their mouth is, they most certainly are not currently holding Tesla stock. Given that I personally believe that interest rates are going to start heading south this year, not just a couple of rate cuts, but probably a few more, and of course, I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm the same guy who thought rates would never go up as fast as they did, or as much as they did recently, so hey, take it with a Mount Everest-sized grain of salt. I would not be surprised if, in fact, rather than Tesla stock potentially getting cut in half from where it is now, something closer to the opposite is certainly possible. Remember, sentiment is an important driver of people's decisions around buying and selling certain stocks. Right now, as Morgan Stanley pointed out, sentiment is quite bearish, at least among their mailing list. A lot of algorithms and sentient algorithms who obey the same rules on Wall Street. Oh no, rates are up. I better sell growth stocks, buy value stocks. Rates are coming down. Time to sell the value stocks, better buy growth stocks. Now, if that happens, we may see a wave of capital flood into Tesla if it turns out that rates do start coming down. So I look forward to seeing whether or not the bears are right. Less than 1 in 4 of those surveyed see Tesla as a good way to play the AI theme. Bearish Tesla is also reflected on the thematic side, with less than 1 in 4 surveyed believing Tesla is a good way to gain AI exposure in their portfolios. Translation, roughly 1/4 believe that Tesla is just a car company. From our recent conversations with investors, Elon Musk is seen as making some effort to distance Tesla from the AI theme for 2024, allowing investors to focus on the deteriorating EV demand narrative. Keyword there, narrative versus reality. Amidst the seemingly overwhelmingly bearish institutional investor sentiment, we reiterate our overweight rating on Tesla stock with a $345 price target. And you've got to commend Morgan Stanley for standing strong-ish. Many on Wall Street have neither the spines or testicles required to hold firm on their convictions. Instead, everyone's panicking, the stock's down, I better reduce my price target, and then reverse engineer a reason other than the stock's down and I don't want to be out here with a price target that's meaningfully above the current price, because that'd be awkward. Our thesis on Tesla is that it is both an auto stock and an energy stock and an AI and robotics company. In fact, our valuation of the core auto business, literal Craig Erwin territory, is just $75 per share, representing just 22% of our $345 price target, which was revised down on January 22nd from $380 per share previously. Negative developments in the global EV market very much matter to Tesla and should reasonably have a negative near-term impact on the price of the stock. At the same time, however, we believe investors should not ignore the continued developments of Tesla's other plays, many of which are auto-related, i.e. the recurring revenue opportunity from the Tesla fleet, embedded in our Tesla network services valuation, and other areas that we do not include within our $345 price target, but that the market may include, i.e. Optimus, which we expect to learn much more about during the 2024 Tesla AI Day. So just a quick note here. In the fullness of time, and I'm talking a long time, the decades plural, I personally believe that Tesla's Optimus, that business line alone, in terms of valuation, will dwarf every other aspect of Tesla's business. And that includes things they've yet to pull off, like robo-taxis. Morgan Stanley currently do not include anything at all from Optimus in their Tesla valuation, and they happily admit this. This may be one of the reasons why I continue to buy Tesla's stock today with every spare cent. So here's how the survey went. Question 1. How do you expect Tesla shares to perform relative to the S&P from today through to year end? A mere 12% expecting Tesla stock would outperform the S&P through year end by at least 10%. 14% expecting it would outperform by 5 to 10%. 13% neutral. And a very clear majority here modestly underperform, e.g. down 5 to 10% relative to the S&P, or significantly underperform, down more than 10% relative to S&P, 33% and 27% respectively. Call me crazy, but might be a bit of an indication that maybe on average Tesla's not quite being understood. Now, of course, the stock performance and understanding of the company are not necessarily linked. Sometimes there can be a pretty major disconnect, but with Tesla stock, as I record this, sub $200 per share, margins looking like they're close to having bottomed, give or take a few percent. Major progress happening with FSD, next-gen vehicle manufacturing system almost finalized. The likelihood of rates coming down meaningfully later this year. I'm kind of surprised by these results. Question 2. Where do you expect Tesla shares to bottom before year end? Exactly 1/4 of respondents believe Tesla shares have already bottomed at $180 per share. Almost 50% expect the stock to bottom around $150 per share. I mean, you never know. and I'm all for it. I'd rather be buying at 150 than 200. 20% believe the stock bottoms at about $100 per share. And by the way, I hope those people can start a YouTube channel explaining their reasoning so I can revisit some of those videos. And 7% believe the stock will bottom below $100 per share. Combined, the arse end of these respondents, 27% believe the stock is going to be $100 or less at some point this year, which is more than the number of people who believe the stock has already bottomed. Now, again, it's impossible to know what the stock's going to do, but I'll tell you what, I don't think the market, based on these responses, is accurately assessing the probabilities here. And question 3, is Tesla a good way to gain exposure to the AI theme in your portfolio? An astonishing 54% of respondents say no. Just 23% maybe, and 24% yes. Imagine it was, let's say, 2014, actually, be more generous, 2016, a couple of years later. After Tesla announces a few years earlier in 2014, they're building a factory to supply batteries for 500,000 vehicles per year by 2020. In essence, a proxy for Tesla expecting to produce and sell 500,000 electric vehicles per year in 2020. Imagine the survey question asked 2 years after Tesla publicly announces their goal, in essence, of 500,000 vehicles sold per year in 2020. 2 years later, they announced it in 2014. 2 years later, 2016, Morgan Stanley says, hey investors, will Tesla produce and sell approximately 500,000 vehicles per year by 2020? Give or take 1 or 2 years, because why not? I suspect we would have seen comparable results. In fact, I think there would have been even more no's, far fewer maybes, and almost zero yeses. Yet, we know how that ended, don't we? So the reason for running through this sentiment note from Morgan Stanley is just to remind you guys that there can sometimes be a very strong disconnect between perception and reality, assigned probabilities and actual outcomes. It's always impossible to know how things play out, but I certainly want to suggest that 12 months from now, it's going to be very fun to revisit this survey to see what actually happened. Where did Tesla stock bottom? How did it perform relative to the S&P? And is there any evidence that Tesla has 1, 2, or possibly multiple handfuls of fingers in the AI pie? Want more content? Early access? Bunch of perks? Click the links in the pinned comment. AG1 has given me a massive, meaningful boost in energy, allowing me to do a lot more every day, including using my brain more and using my body more. I highly recommend you guys and girls check it out. It's an excellent way to fill in nutritional gaps. It's got 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, and whole food source nutrients, plus prebiotics and probiotics and digestive enzymes and adaptogens to help you deal with stress. Plus, if you click the link in the pinned comment or head to drinkag1.com/SMR, you can get yourself a 1-year free supply of vitamin D3 and K2. But don't take my word for it. Here's what some of you guys and girls have to say. AG1 has changed my life. I was, as you described, treating myself like a circus, ate like trash, rarely exercised, used alcohol as a stress crutch, cannabis also. AG1 is what gave me the kick in the ass, got me back to the gym, motivated me to do more for myself, family, my business, etc. Keep doing what you do. Now, I know there's some skeptics, the same kind of people who think Elon Musk is a fraud, reading this going, what do you thought? There's no way that's possible, bro. It must be a placebo effect. Believe it or not, this is a recurring theme. If you give your body everything it needs to feel and perform its best, including having a lot more energy, you'll need ways to use that energy. For me personally, that includes more exercise, moving my body more social activity, and more cognitively demanding tasks, including producing a fuck ton of exclusive content over on Twitter and on Patreon, plus my daily YouTube uploads. The proof's in the pudding. On to another testimonial from a viewer of this channel. SMR, you asked me to provide feedback on AG1. Here it is. It has helped with mental acuity, stamina, and intestinal waste management. Can't read between the lines. It certainly helps with regularity and digestion. That's what the digestive enzymes are for. It has also dramatically reduced my cravings for sugar. You guys need to stop eating sugar. It's fucking poison. I'm 50, 5'9", and overweight, aka a fat motherfucker. I think that's a technical term for overweight, isn't it? Is it fat motherfucker or obese? I can't remember. I average 100 hours a week in the West Texas oil fields as a safety supervisor. Jesus Christ, dude. No wonder you're struggling to keep your weight under control. 100 hours a week. Brutal. It has helped me lose weight. It is not an appetite suppressant. It can help fat people suppress cravings, and motivation to be healthier is critical for changing your diet. Love you, brother. Again, this is a great point. It's something people really don't seem to grasp. If you have more energy, everything becomes easier. It's like turning on easy mode for life. A few years ago, before I was taking AG1, my health was trash. I was struggling to get through the day, had afternoon fatigue. The last thing I wanted to do was either use my brain or move my body. Didn't have the energy. Now, my biggest struggle every day is figuring out ways to use that energy. I'm exercising way more, doing a lot more with my friends and family, and of course, my work output has increased substantially. And you can fact check me. Check out the average length of my videos I was posting to YouTube 3 years ago. Need I say more? And one final testimonial. Love this one. Okay, here's the deal for me with this AG1 shit. I'm 41 years old and not the type to eat, drink, smoke, or sleep healthy, so I was skeptical. That being said, here's what I experienced. Day 1, meh. Day 2, afternoon fatigue was about 45 minutes late. Day 3, 0 afternoon fatigue. Day 4, 0 afternoon fatigue plus extra energy. Day 5, again, 0 afternoon fatigue plus energy, wondering, what the fuck, really? See, this is the thing, right? The results for many people are just almost too good to be true. This is the same experience I had. My afternoon fatigue just vanished out of nowhere. I'm like, wait, what the fuck? Why am I not tired in the afternoons anymore? Surely, it's not that AG1 shit, is it? Turns out it was. Day 6 and 7, same thing. Day 8, same thing. Plus, I had the want to get things done around the house that I normally would slack off and not get done. Again, the point, extra energy, you'll need to use it. You'll find ways to use it. Day 9, 10, and 11, and today is day 12. I fucking love it. So however you managed to get me to buy it, I'm so glad you did. Thank you so much, SMR. It really changed me so far. Guys, this shit really works. Just try it. By the way, this is the reason I continue to relentlessly promote AG1. A lot of people get real fucking mad in the comments. Oh my God, snake oil salmon's sold out. Oh my God, he's a scammer. This is fraud. But constantly, I'm pretty sure everyone making these comments is also currently short Tesla stock. I'm not particularly concerned about people having a negative perception, those folks suffering from small brain syndrome, still living in my bum's basement syndrome, etc., writing mean comments, claiming AG1's a scam or it doesn't work. I mean, bro, when I get feedback like this is what keeps me going. Just try this stuff for a month, and if you don't get these results, get your money back. See, it's a literal no-brainer. It's an IQ test at this point in time. Testimonial after testimonial after testimonial like this. Get your money back if it doesn't work. Just try it for a month, and if it doesn't work, get your money back. Today's the day. It's finally time. Be like this guy who was a massive skeptic, but finally, after 1,000 promotions in a row, caved in, tried AG1, and has results like this. Head to drinkag1.com/SMR or click the link at the pinned comment, and please, let me know how you're feeling in a few weeks' time. Now, if you'll excuse me, time to put my extra energy to good use. I'll be recording some more exclusive content for Patreon and my Twitter subscribers. So click the links at the pinned comment. See you over on Twitter and or Patreon, and don't forget to grab your AG1. Love ya.